In the last few videos, I went over what autoimmune disease was, what causes it, how to treat it, and some things that your doctors probably aren't telling you. In this video, I want to go over 3 things that you can start doing immediately to start feeling relief. All right, before I begin, you may not like me for this. It's not the most popular thing that I'm going to say ever. However, gluten is one of the worst things you can be eating if you have autoimmune disease. In fact, gluten sensitivity has been found in every single case of autoimmune disease where it has been studied. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have celiac disease. It just means that gluten does not do good things for your body. Gluten sensitivity has been actually considered to be on a spectrum these days. It's kind of like autism, where you have people that are slightly sensitive to gluten all the way up to celiac disease being the worst. Many researchers are starting to believe that this gluten sensitivity is linked to autoimmune disease and that you cannot have autoimmune disease without gluten being present. Furthermore, to really simplify things, our guts are meant to be a tube, if you will, that shuttles food throughout our system where little particles of minerals and vitamins and amino acids and all of the different things that our bodies need to function are kind of siphoned off and brought into our systems for use. However, a lot of us have what is called leaky gut or increased intestinal permeability. And this is where when food particles come through this tube, there's actually holes in the tube and food particles get out into our bloodstream, which causes our immune systems to ramp up and kind of go crazy. And you can imagine when you have autoimmune disease, you don't want your immune system to go any crazier than it already has. Because what does that mean? More disease activity, more eating of your tissue. No bueno, eh? So unfortunately, gluten causes these holes in our guts by several different mechanisms. And so it's not something that we necessarily want to have in our diet because a healthy person may be able to eat it, have the holes poked in their gut, and be able to recover very quickly. But those of us with autoimmune disease, we have that increased immune response, and that's just not good for us. So removing gluten from our diet is the #1 thing we can do to help ourselves start to feel better. And this is not just a little bit of gluten here, a couple crumbs, or I'll have a muffin here or pizza on Friday night. This is like no gluten. It's not that easy, I know, but eventually it becomes a second nature and it's really not that hard. And luckily we live in this day and age where there are so many gluten-free products. Restaurants have gluten-free options on the menu, and it is a lot easier to do than it was even like 5-10 years ago. I have many resources for you if this is something that you want to try, but just realize it's not as bad as it seems, and just go ahead and try it for a couple months and see what happens. All right, the #2 thing you can do to start feeling better immediately is to cut down or cut out all added sugars in your diet. I know this is another hard one, but sugar is actually one of the worst things that we include in our diets these days. When our bodies are functioning as they should, we have a whole bunch of hormones that ebb and flow, that help us to fall asleep when we need to, help us to wake up, make us feel hungry, make us feel full, and just all of the other things that our bodies do. When we eat too much sugar, those processes get all disjointed. And you may be familiar with being hangry, where you feel irritable or you feel kind of shaky and you have to have food now. That is not a good thing, and that means that you have hormones that are just not working the way that they should. And unfortunately, when you have all your hormones all out of whack, you have inflammation in your body, and inflammation is something that your immune system and the rest of your body has to work on to try to quell it and to try to calm it down. And that's valuable resources in your body that are not working on trying to calm down your immune system. So once you've gotten your hormones working correctly and the inflammation has started to die down, then your body can concentrate on working on the immune system and quelling that down too, which means less disease activity. And then the third thing that you can do to help start feeling better now is to get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep tonight. For some of you, this may be a no-brainer and you're actually getting 14 hours of sleep because that's what your disease is making you do. And I feel you. That is actually okay. There is nothing wrong with it. Do not worry if you sleep more than the recommended amount. And I've heard about that study that says people that sleep too much have shortened lifespans. Doesn't matter. It just means it's a symptom of your disease. Eventually, once you get your disease under control, you'll start to sleep a lot less. I only sleep about 8 hours a night right now, but there was a time I was sleeping 14 hours a night. But for those of you that are more on the I get 4 to 7 hours of sleep, You need more sleep. There are now scientific studies coming out that are saying that we actually do essential bodily functions when we sleep. Sleep is not just one of those things where we just restore and just kind of rest and do nothing. There are actually like detoxification things going on, minerals are being balanced, things are just being done all over our body. And when you have autoimmune disease, you want everything done that can possibly be done to help restore your body. When you skimp on sleep, it's just another cascade of effects that will just keep your disease activity going, and you just don't want that. So to recap, the 3 things that you should do to start feeling better immediately are 1, cut out gluten, 2, cut out or cut down on sugar, and 3, get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. If you're interested in a little bit more advanced ideas on using diet and lifestyle to help put your autoimmune disease into remission and help quell the symptoms and everything, check out the next section on using diet and lifestyle for autoimmune disease. In that, I go over all of the different diets and lifestyle recommendations that I have that really kind of help with the immune system to help quell it down and to also help reduce inflammation in the body and really make you feel fantastic. But if you're brand new to all this, I recommend you do these 3 things first, really kind of get a feel for it and start to feel better, and then you can start incorporating more advanced techniques. But that section will be there for you whenever you are ready. If you did want to get a little bit of a high-level overview of it all right now, you can download my Natural Guide to Autoimmune Relief, which I'll link to below. And with that, you'll get my every other week newsletter, which is just full of tips and inspiration on helping use diet and lifestyle to help with autoimmune disease. So I look forward to getting to know you better, and ask me any questions you may have. And I really hope that you start feeling better soon.